All right, well, I want to welcome everyone to our live Saturday morning presentation. This morning we're going to be talking about this art of asking questions, and as I go through our presentation, there's going to be an opportunity to do some role playing. And I just want to give you a heads up because I'd like to have at least one person, if not more. Certainly we'll role play with as many people as would like to. And the purpose of the role playing would be, again, to understand this aspect of how to use the art of asking questions to identify the needs and the pain points of the person that you're talking to, so that you can use a series of questions to allow you the opportunity to provide them with information leading to a presentation. And this whole aspect of the art of asking questions has both a discipline to it as well as the term art applies. Whether the person is using abstract art or traditional art, everyone still has a framework in terms of what they're doing with regards to their project. So there's a discipline to any form of art, and the same thing with regards to the asking of questions. There's a discipline to what you're going to be doing in the process of asking your questions, but at the same time it's art from the standpoint that it's creative. It's creative in the process. It's creative in the ability to be able to generate the types of questions that will help you understand the person you're talking to, as well as then be able to see if you can lead them in a direction that will help them with regards to the information that they need. So as this next slide says, learn this one skill and you'll be able to generate qualified leads that will become customers and or business builders. Learn how to effectively combine the skill with your elevator speech, testimonials, and resources, and you have and the resources you have, and you'll be a dynamo. This combination will accelerate the growth of your synergy business. And so I want, for those that are on the live webinar this morning, to understand that your synergy business is made up of both customers and business builders. Both have value to the growth of your synergy business. I don't have the slide that Jean shows in her presentations. It's a slide that we used to use quite a bit. We basically teach 3 core skills. One is improve your N factor or your skill level, which is what we're doing today. And the purpose of increasing your skill level is so that you can acquire customers and attract business builders. Customers create for you cash flow for your synergy business. They create either through the elite rebates from Synergy Worldwide, or if you have a business model where you're selling directly to your customers, the difference between what you pay for the product and what they pay you, that difference is net profit that you keep. So customers are always going to create cash flow for your synergy business. They're also going to create what's called volume, organizational volume, whether it be directly on your tracking center one, or whether it be people underneath you that you've sponsored and they learn how to do the same thing where they're acquiring customers. That's creating volume in your organization. So teaching this ability to learn the art of asking questions so that you and the distributors that you bring into Synergy Worldwide can have a larger customer base, that benefits everyone because your distributors, will create cash flow. They'll create organizational volume, which will then increase your basic commissions and the mega matches that you'll earn off of basic commissions from the people that you've sponsored. Plus, you're going to find from your experience that there's more people who want to be happy product users, customers, than necessarily business builders. Don't alienate them by trying to get them to be business builders. Allow the person that you're talking to choose the pathway that they want to go down. And this whole process of the art of asking questions helps you to identify where that person's coming from. And if their primary emphasis is just to use the products, then let them be a happy product user. They'll create cash flow for you. They'll create volume in your organization. And at some point in time, some of those customers, because of the experience that they have on the Synergy products, will ask you about the business opportunity. And at that point in time, they can become a business builder. So we want to be able to help you understand this whole process of asking questions. And as this slide says, until you learn how to ask questions, you'll never truly know if the information you're sharing with people speaks to their needs. So often people just tell others about Progyny Plus or the Synergy business opportunity. And even if you share this information with passion, most times we just end up overwhelming people with information, causing them to shut down. You see, we live in an information age. People are bombarded all the time with information. If you watch people, what are they doing? They're searching on their phone. I mean, it's like any spare time, and even sometimes with regards when they're in their car driving, they're trolling on their phone, either on Facebook or Pinterest or other areas, or they're doing activities all involved in the aspect of information. So people in today's society are just overwhelmed with information. And your job is not to overwhelm them with additional information. Your job in the art of asking questions is to find out what their pain points are. And then in that process of discovery through the art of asking questions, be able to lead them through a series of questions that they then desire more information, because it speaks to the needs of the person that you're talking to. It speaks to the pain points within their life, and that you have a potential solution for those pain points. They'll then want information. And at that point in time, there's a process in how to give that information to an individual so that it makes sense to them. By learning to ask targeted questions, you can quickly identify the needs and interests of a person. This way you can always target your information to make it relevant to them and not to you. Again, not to belabor this point, but it's really important for us to get this down and understand. It's not my agenda, it's their agenda. And if I ask the right questions to identify their needs and interests and pain points, you're going to find that many of those interests, needs, and pain points fit into your business operation. Whether it be pain points that they need to improve their health, or pain points in regards to their life where they need some extra income, or they're looking for some time freedom, or they're looking for other opportunities to be able to get out of their dead-end job, or the job that they don't like. Again, those are all opportunity pain points, opportunities for you to then be able to target the needs of the person that you're talking to so that the information that you share with them is relevant to them. And this is what we want to try and help you do today. So today we want to help you improve your skill level by helping you better understand how to ask questions. Now, I don't know who this quote is from. It's not from me. It's an anonymous quote, so I can't tell you whoever said this. But you can tell a man is clever by his answers. You can tell a man is wise by his questions. And that's what we want you to do. We want you to help you to create this wisdom by asking the right questions. So in that wisdom that you gain, you are better able to position the information you're going to give to a person so that it speaks directly to their needs. When you do that, you'll never have to sell, because the information that you share with them will resonate with their needs and they will choose to buy. See, there's a difference between selling something and positioning information appropriate in front of a person so that they choose to want to buy. And that's what we want to help you do, because when a person chooses to want to buy, they want that product. And then if that product is successful in helping them meet the needs within their life, answer the pain points that they're feeling, they'll want to continue to buy that product. See, for a customer or client that you properly bring in through the art of asking questions and help them get information that directly speaks to their needs, they'll want to buy the product that you have or the services that you have. And then if that product and service meets that pain point and eliminates that pain point, they'll want to continue to purchase and purchase and purchase, and they become a happy product user. And more importantly, many of them become clients for you that will then refer other people to you. For example, I have a fellow down in the Ozarks, and he has seen tremendous benefits on Progyny Plus. He started as a customer, he's a client, and now he refers people to me. Doesn't have any interest in doing the business, but because of the experience that he's because of the experience that he's had on the Synergy products and how it's helped him improve his health, he's actively sharing that information with other people that he comes in contact with. In fact, he just called me this week to place a reorder and asked me when I sent the package to send additional flyers on ProArgent Plus because he was going to be at a high school reunion and he wanted to take the flyers with him so that as he was talking to people at the reunion, if they had needs like he had the need for this product, he can share that flyer and my name and my phone number so that he can interest them to give me a call. What's he going to gain out of it? There's nothing for him. He's just a happy product user who believes in the product and has a passion to want to help other people experience health benefits. So he just is a great client of mine who does a great job trying to refer people to me. Now, when you look at questions, you can look at them in a couple different ways. There's a program that looks as questions as white questions, green questions, black questions, and red questions. Well, when you look at the types of questions that they have in those different color combinations, they really boil down to this. Those first initial questions are all about questions about the person's current situation. And as you understand their current situation, there may be pain points, frustrations, challenges that they're facing. Well, as you understand those frustrations, pain points, and challenges, then you can go into green questions, or what would be that person's desired situation? Asking them, their best scenario, what they would like to see. Black questions are, well, what are the obstacles that are keeping you from being there? And then the red questions are this aspect of feeling. Well, if you were able to solve that issue, how would you feel? What difference would it make in your life? If the frustrations that you're having at work could be changed where you're actually doing a job, a business that you're passionate about, and are meeting the needs of people and meeting the needs of your family better, as well as meeting your own personal needs for the kinds of rewarding type of life that you would like to have, how would that make you feel? Again, it's learning to, as you ask these questions, gather the information so that you can use that information in a constructive, positive way to help a person do, one, understand that you've heard them, and secondly, use the information to position the next set of questions so that as you progress through this process, when you finally come to this last question about them wanting information that could directly address their need, would they want that information given to them? And when you do this process properly, you're going to see a huge change from the number of no's that you get to the number of yeses that you get. Now, when a person says yes to more information, that doesn't mean that they're a buyer yet or that they're going to join you in the Synergy business. But what it does mean is that they are open to the information and presentation that you're going to share with them. So when you look at all this information that I've talked to you about, it basically fits into this overall strategy. Identify pain points, use a series of questions, offer a solution, make your presentations. And what I'd like to do before I go in and show you some of these specific types of questions that you could use and ask and begin to make part of your skill package, what I'd like to do is see if we've got anyone on the live webinar today who wants to role play with me. So you'll notice that I have a question. Who wants to role play with me?
I do, Dan.
Okay, Lewis, correct?
Yes.
So, Lewis, tell me, in what area would you like to role play? Would you like to role play with regards to a person who has health needs and you're looking to help them use Synergy products? Or would you like to role play for a person who might be interested in the business opportunity?
On the health-wise.
Okay. So we're going to look at health issues. Now,
Yeah.
have you run into people who have health issues?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Okay. So what I would like to do, Lewis, is for you to be that person who has a health issue, and then I'm just going to role play with you as if, I'm talking to you.
Okay.
All right? So
Okay.
before we get started, Lewis, I just want one more piece of information from you. Is that all right?
Yes.
Now, before I give you that, I want people on the call as well as you, Lewis, to know and understand something that I did. I asked you a question, didn't I?
Yes.
And you'll notice that the end of my question, I was asking your permission.
Yeah.
And when you learn how to ask permission, more often you'll get yeses than if you tell people. It's a subtle technique, but it's a very valuable technique in this aspect of learning the art of asking questions, is the aspect of asking permission from the person that you're talking to, because it does two things. One, it provides respect to the other individual, and although the person who's asking questions is actually in control of the conversation, but because you ask permission, the person who you're asking permission to thinks they're in control of the situation. And people like to be in control. So when you respect people and allow them the opportunity to be in control, you're going to find more often than not you're going to get yeses. Make sense?
Yeah.
Now, again, what did I just do? I asked a question. Make sense? Not make sense, but make sense. Again, my tonal aspect made that statement a question because I'm looking to make sure that we're both tracking in the same process. Now, so what I was going to ask you, Lewis, is this. Tell me the context of how you find people who have health needs. Does that make Does that make sense?
Yes.
So are these people that you know? Are these people that you run into? Are these family members? What's the context?
Well, yeah. So family, friends, people that I met. They always, you talk about your life,
Okay.
In general.
So let's take that. So you and I, Lewis, we meet someplace and hey, Lewis, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic in that. So how's your family?
It's doing good. Doing great.
So are you guys, your family at summertime, you guys planning any trips? Vacation?
Not yet. We would like to, but not yet.
Okay. All right. So how's your health been, Lewis?
Right now, it's okay. It's not where I want it to be, but I got issues that I need to take care of it.
Okay. So your health's not where you want it to be. So what, if you don't mind sharing, Lewis, what particular area is not working for you?
I'm kind of lack of energy, and sometimes I got kind of pain on my feet, things like that.
So you're lacking energy and you've got some pain in your feet. Are you doing anything to try and solve that?
No.
All right. So do you just want to live with lack of energy and pain in your feet?
No, not really.
So if Lewis, if you are able to discover a process that could help you with more energy and potentially solve that pain in your feet, how would that make you feel?
Oh, that would be great.
Well, Lewis, have you ever heard of nitric oxide therapy?
No. What is that?
Well, I'm with a company called Synergy Worldwide, and one of their products specifically targets this issue called nitric oxide therapy. So I've got a lot of clients that I've been able to introduce this concept of nitric oxide therapy to, and as they understand this and use the product that specifically is designed to harness this nitric oxide therapy, I've seen my clients improve their energy. I've got clients that have knee pain and foot pain that as their circulation improves, they've seen their knee pain and feet and foot pain go away. Some construction workers who've used this product have seen some very remarkable improvements where they used to live in pain, they'd wake up in pain, and now they don't have that kind of soreness anymore. They have greater energy on the job. They're not exhausted at the end of the day. Would this be something that you would like to get more information about?
Yeah, sure. That sounds interesting.
All right. Well, what I'd rather do is I'd like to send you a video to help you understand nitric oxide therapy and how it could address the issues that you're experiencing, because the video is going to do a better job explaining it visually, as well as the information that's in the video I think you'll find will better speak to your needs. And then what I'd like to do after the video is just check back with you and see if that makes sense, if you have questions, and then you can let me know if this is something that you want to try. Would that work for you?
Oh yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Sure. Let's do that.
So what I'm going to do, Louis, let's exchange email addresses, because I'm not sure if I've got your current email address, and let's make sure that we have each other's phone numbers. So let's exchange those. And when I get home today, I'm going to send you an email to your email address, and I'll have a link in that email to the video that I believe will best help you understand this nitric oxide therapy and help you best understand how this could help you. Fair?
Okay, that sounds good. But let me ask you something then. I usually don't go much to my email. So, I use my phone a lot. Can you send it to my text message or something like that?
Okay. I'll tell you what. I'm going to send you an email, and then what I'll do is I'll send you a text message with the URL link to that video. I'm not real good on texting, but this will be an opportunity for me to be able to step out of my comfort zone and send you that text. Okay? So I'll send you both, and just in case I mess up on the text, at least that link will be in the email. Okay?
Oh, all right, sounds good.
All right. So, was that a helpful role play for you, Louis?
Oh yes.
All right. Now let's do one more with you, Louis, and then I'll see if someone else wants the role play, and then I'll go and talk with someone else. And I think I hear Jean's voice in the background.
Yeah, I was just gonna, while we were on the subject about texting, if you can send a link in a text just as easily as you can send a link in a it's actually easier on a phone, because once he gets the text, you just send it to his phone number. He just clicks on it and he'll go right to the website.
Okay, so I've got some questions for you, Jean. Do I have to type? Hello? All right. So, Louis, I was hoping to get the answer from Jean, but needless to say, I won't get that answer. So what I'll do is I'll learn from Jean with regards to how to easily put a link in a text. Anyways, Louis, since I've got you back on the phone and others will be rejoining us on the webinar, is there another health issue that you consistently run into that you would like to role play?
High blood pressure, because that's one of my issues too, and that's the main reason.
All right. So let's just do kind of the same situation, and I'm going to kind of do the same type of process, and you'll see how the process is pretty much the same, except the questions might be slightly different. So, Louis, we get together, and this time I want you, when I ask you about your health and that, you can share with me about the high blood pressure. So, Louis, how you doing?
Sure. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I've never felt better. How about yourself? How are you feeling?
I'm doing good, except, my high blood pressure is kind of, bugging me for, taking pills that I don't like it, and also pills, affect in the negative way in your health.
Okay, so how long have you had your high blood pressure?
Well, I have it for a few years already.
Okay.
Yes.
And what was you're taking medication now. Is it got your blood pressure under control?
Yes, but I'm taking 4 different pills.
4 medications, okay.
Yeah.
And what was your high blood pressure before you started on medication?
Oh, it was way high. It was like 190 over, 100.
Wow, that is high. All right.
Yes.
And on the medication that you're taking, what kind of symptoms are you getting from it?
Well, like I got this cough is bothering me. I think
Okay.
it's part of the the side effect of the pills. And I think probably my pain on my legs that part of it too. I don't know.
All right. Okay, so you feel that some of that medication you're taking is causing some side effects for you that are not pleasant.
Yeah.
I would assume that you would be happy if you could find a way to improve your blood pressure without having to use medications, or maybe even substantially reduce the amount of medication that you're on.
Oh, that would be great.
Have you ever heard of nitric oxide therapy?
No, really. What is that?
Well, nitric oxide therapy is a way for you to naturally address high blood pressure issues.
Okay.
I've got a client, her name is Sherry. Now, her blood pressure wasn't as high as yours. Her blood pressure
Yeah.
was 160 over 90. And
Wow.
when I met her, she hadn't yet gone on medication, but she was faced with the decision about getting on medication because her high blood pressure was 160 over 90, and her
Right.
physician recommended that she be on medication because that's not a safe level. Well,
Right.
I met her and we got to talking about this nitric oxide therapy and how there's a product that naturally helps your body harness this. And she decided to try first the natural supplement before she went on medication. And here's the results. Her blood pressure now runs 112 over 68.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, for
perfect.
her it was amazing for her, and she doesn't need to be on medication. She feels good about her life. She has better energy, and I have other clients who I've had the opportunity to introduce to this concept, this aspect called nitric oxide therapy. And when they understand nitric oxide therapy in relationship to their high blood pressure, well, they would like to potentially look at this product called ProArginine Plus that actually is designed to harness this nitric oxide therapy effectively. So I've got a question for you, Louis.
Sure.
Would you be interested in me sending you a video that would help you understand this nitric oxide therapy in relationship to your high blood pressure and how it can naturally address this issue? And then it'll also talk about this product that is actually clinically proven in the area of this gas called nitric oxide, but even more importantly, it's also a product that has been listed in the physician's desk reference for the last 3 years. So the medical community actually recognizes this product in terms of nitric oxide therapy and how beneficial it can be. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to send that video to you because it'll do a better job explaining the information to you and visually showing you how this works. Is that okay?
Oh yeah. I will look to it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, sure.
So then,
Let me ask you something.
yeah, go ahead.
How long that will take to see the effects on that product?
Okay, great question. From my experience, and I've been using this product since 2008 with my clients. This product came out in 2008. I've got a lot of clients, and I would say, Louis, in answer to your question, that 80% of my clients see positive improvements in the first 30 days or less. Now, let me explain what positive improvements mean. It means that their blood pressures are already in the normal range by the end of 30 days, or they're trending towards normal in the first 30 days, meaning that they haven't arrived there yet, but they're seeing the decrease in their blood pressure going towards normal. Some
Okay.
are able to get off of medications in 30 days, or they're able to start talking to their doctor about weaning themselves off of medication to see if what they're doing from a natural standpoint can solve their issue, or at least substantially reduce the amount of medication that they have to take to be able to maintain that normal blood pressure. Now, I also have some other clients that take longer. And I can't look into the inside of a person and know the extent of damage done to this lining of their vascular system due to their high blood pressure. But that's been my experience, is about 80% of my clients see some positive improvements in the first 30 days or less.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I understand everybody's
Sure.
different, and everybody got different health
Hmm.
issues. Mine is very severe.
Okay,
Put it
yes.
that way.
Yeah. And definitely you don't want to get off your medication, but let me send you, let me get your email address. I'll send you the videos, see if it makes sense to you. I'll follow up, see if you got questions, and then we can just determine what you want to do, because it's
Okay,
whatever we do is
perfect. Yeah,
all in your court. Okay?
yeah. Okay, perfect.
Great. Now, so we've role played two situations: lack of energy, high blood pressure. The basic format is always the same. The what gets inserted into the questions changes a little bit according to what the person's situation is. Now, before I go and show you exactly what I've been doing, is there anyone else? And again, I apologize for the disconnect with the live webinar going down. Jean's computer crashed, and because she was in as an organizer, it shut down the whole system. So I'm glad that people reconnected into this live webinar. Is there anyone on the call this morning that wants to role play a situation with me before I go on with the rest of the presentation?
And I just wanted to apologize to everybody. Sorry, I'm back. Weird.
Okay, great, Jean. So Jean, since you're back, and before I see if anyone else wants to role play, at the end of our presentation today, would you share how you can easily send a URL on a text message?
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks. So before Jean does that at the end of the presentation, is there anyone on the call this morning that wants to do a quick role play with me before I finish up and show you what I've been doing?
Sure, Dan. It's Donald.
Yes, Donald.
One of the things I would like to ask is the questions that you ask, how many of them have been white questions? And because I got a sense that many of them were, and some went because of Lewis's response. I didn't see many black questions there. So could you quickly identify whether or not there were green, white questions?
Okay, you should be able to see on the.
Or should I wait and then?
No, you're fine. That's fine. It's a great question. So everyone should be able to see, and again, confirm that you're able to see this, because I
Yes.
don't remember. Okay.
Yes.
So you'll see that most of my questions are in the white question area. I'm trying to identify Lewis's current situation. Then I use one, maybe two green questions. What would Lewis's desired situation would be? One or two black questions. What are the obstacles that are preventing? And typically just one red question. I asked him how he would feel. What would his life be like if he had his energy back and he didn't have the pain in his feet? All right. So you're going to find that the vast majority of your questions is to identify the current situation with the individual. That could happen in the first question, or it could take a series of questions, because what you're looking for in the white or current situation questions is to identify pain points within that person's life. And then once you've identified a pain point, asking some questions regarding that pain point, how it's affecting that person, and then what would be the desired situation through a question, any obstacles in that process, and then a feeling. And quite frankly, for me, I a lot of times forget to ask the feeling questions. It's just the way my mindset is. I'm very factual about how I go about doing things. I'm very structured about how I go about doing things. I'm not so much into this feely situation in terms. And so that's an area of my skill that I need to work on and improve in. And the more that I work on that, then the more that I can get a person's feelings, because then I don't want to manipulate people on their feelings, but certainly you want to tap into their feelings, because it's them wanting and desiring a change in their life. And that's the importance of doing that. So
Right,
other people are really good at that. Women are especially good about the feeling aspect of what's going on. You know, Jean is really good at that aspect, and sometimes I just don't have the patience for it. And again, I have to look at that from a skill standpoint to say, Dan, it's important to allow that person to talk about their pain, about how they would feel if they didn't have that, because it's important in that process. Does that help?
It certainly did, Dan. Thank you very much.
Okay, and hopefully people understand and see something that I do. I ask questions like I asked Donald. I'll use the word okay, not okay, but okay. Again, the way that you ask that becomes either a statement or a question. I want to ask it as a question because I'm checking the person's temperature as we go through this whole process. Now, let me show you what I was doing. I was initially identifying Lewis's pain points. In the first role play, his pain points was lack of energy and pain in his feet. In the second role play, his pain point was high blood pressure. All right, maybe the person has job issues or financial stress or whatever. All right, depending upon what those pain points, Lewis, are you happy? I don't necessarily I only use these questions here as guidelines for me to remember in terms of what I need to do. Now, I didn't have this slide up on the screen, so I just basically have done this so often that I don't need to have a template in front of me to remind me about what I need to do. However, if you're on the telephone with a person, you can certainly have a template like this in front of you to help you remember to go through this process. So especially when Lewis talked about his high blood pressure, I used a variation of this question, and you'll notice I used Lewis's name. It's important to use that person's name because when you use the person's name, you're showing them respect. So, Lewis, you don't sound too happy about having to take medication for your high blood pressure. Now, that wasn't the exact question that I asked him, but I asked a question very similar to that. And then I asked him, and I see I got a typing mistake here. Are you doing? So I need an I in there. Are you doing anything to change that? Again, is your plan working? Those are all types of things. And then what I did is I didn't talk about do you want a plan that works. I asked them again, nitric oxide therapy. Lewis, have you ever heard of nitric oxide therapy? And you'll notice that when I ask a question, I shut up after the question so I can allow that person the opportunity to give me a response. So here's what I do. Again, did I do this exactly the same way? No, this is just a template. The template is I'd like to talk to you about nitric oxide therapy as a way to naturally address that issue. In fact, I have a client very similar to your situation, and here's what it's done for him or her. Share a tight testimonial. May I share a video with you that will help you understand? I took that and I broke it up into sections of questions with Lewis. I asked first Lewis, have you ever heard about nitric oxide therapy? And when you ask that question, most people are going to say no. Well, then I put it in context. Well, I think nitric oxide therapy could address that situation for you. In fact, I've got a client. Her name is Sherry. And so I shared a testimonial that would speak to the health issue that Lewis had or the person that he's talking to would have. And you'll notice that Lewis's response when I shared the numbers, 160/90, when Sherry applied this nitric oxide therapy through this product specifically designed to harness this nitric oxide therapy, her blood pressure went from 160/90 to 112/68. When Lewis heard the 112/68, I got the reaction from Lewis that I get most times from people, 9 times out of 10. Something to the effect of, wow. That number speaks to people. When you can quantitatively put the before and the after numbers in. Now, it's hard on lack of energy. It's hard on lack of or pain in the feet. So I shared a story about a construction worker that I've had the opportunity to help in those areas. But whenever you can add quantitative information of showing before and after and what nitric oxide therapy has done for that person, it gets a wow response. And once I got that wow response, what did I do? I've positioned Lewis to want more information. And I try, and I don't remember if I used this, I'd have to go back and listen to this recording because we are recording today's conversation, our webinar. I'd have to go back and listen. I'm not sure, but I think I used the phrase, may I share with you, or can I send? I most likely used the word can I send. So may I share or can I send you a video that will help you understand this nitric oxide therapy in relationship to your issue. Now, on the screen you should see may I share in bold black letters or can I share. Both of those are forms of permission. May I share is a greater form of permission than can. Can means that I have the ability, but because of the way that I've used it in the question, I'm asking that person's permission. And if I've done a good job in gathering information through questions, pinpointing the person's pain issue, seeing what they're doing to solve it, because again, Lewis is on 4 medications. He doesn't like being on 4 medications. He's got 2 pain problems. He's got the pain of high blood pressure, and he's got now the pain of medication. And how can we solve both of those? So Lewis will want to accept that information because of how I progressed through my art of asking questions. And when I asked that last question, may I share or can I share a video with you about nitric oxide therapy and how it can directly address your health issue, is it all right that I send that to you? I'm going to get 9 yeses out of 10.
Dan?
Yes.
I think the way you posed the question was, would you be interested in me sending a video on nitric oxide therapy?
All right. So would you be interested, thank you, Donald, for sharing that. Would you be interested is, again, I'm asking permission. Because I'm not saying, Lewis, I'm going to send you a video, and I want you to watch it. Well, you know, that's a very, for lack of a better word, dictatorial statement. As opposed to, would you be interested in me sending you a video on how nitric oxide therapy can directly address that health issue? Would you be interested is asking permission of that person, showing them respect, because what have I done? I've set them up to tell me yes. Why turn them off to me with a direct dictatorial statement when I can ask permission in the question and know because I've done my job correctly, and I can give that person valuable information that they're going to now want to accept it. So that's the basic aspect. And what does it allow me to do? It allows me to send an email. So, I mean, this is just a template email. You know, Dear Lewis, it was great seeing you today. I wanted to follow through on sending you this link to the video on high blood pressure. When you watch it, you're going to learn how nitric oxide therapy, what am I doing? I'm continuing to reinforce this aspect of nitric oxide therapy. If we go back to this previous slide, you notice that I have, when I'm dealing with health issues, I'm always talking about nitric oxide therapy. I'm not talking about, have you heard about ProArginine Plus? No, I'm talking about, have you heard about nitric oxide therapy? Because that allows me to get typically no's and inquiry, wanting more information, especially when I put it in context of their health issue. And then all we're going to do is position ProArginine Plus as the best product in the marketplace to harnessing this nitric oxide therapy. They need to understand how nitric oxide therapy is going to address their health issue, and then here is the product that we recommend, and here's the reasons why. That comes in the video. I'll let the video do the positioning for the product, and let me go back to my email, what do I do in my email? Again, nitric oxide therapy can naturally address your high blood pressure. Sherry is one of my clients. What am I doing? I'm reinforcing the testimonial that I shared with Lewis. Sherry is one of my clients. Okay, Sherry's not my only client. She's one of my clients. I've helped other people use this information and product to help her with her high blood pressure concerns. When I met her, her blood pressure was 160/90. She was faced with the decision to go either on medication or use this natural supplement to address her issue. She decided to apply nitric oxide therapy first by using Proarginine Plus, and the result was her blood pressure returned to normal. Now her blood pressure readings are consistently 112/68. Again, I'm using a testimonial to reinforce the ability of nitric oxide to solve the high blood pressure issue that my client had with specific numbers 160/90 to 112/68, and here's the product that she used to apply this nitric oxide therapy. I provide the link to the video. You can find those video links in the Global Health Makeover website, or for people in our organization in the Synergy Library. And then I just have a close. I'll call you on such and such a date to see if you have any questions. However, feel free to call me before if you have questions on the information you're about to see and hear and see. Have a blessed day, Dan, however you want to end your email. It's fairly short. There's just basically the first paragraph is to, again, acknowledge our meeting and the health issue that Lewis shared with me. The second paragraph, sharing a tight testimonial to reinforce how nitric oxide therapy helped this person, which could then relate to Lewis's issue, link to the video, and then how I'm going to follow up with him. Make sense?
Yes.
It certainly does.
So Lewis, my question to you is, was this helpful to you this morning?
Oh, yes. Dan, I have a question.
Yes.
Now, you coming from the space where, you already been on the business, you have your customers and your clients, so you can have a testimonial from them. Now, in my situation, I start, like I say, last week, I just started the product yesterday, and I don't have a close testimonial. How I can use a third party for that, or?
Absolutely. So you could borrow. So let's say, so I'll just I'll be you and you be me, meaning that, dear Dan, it was great meeting you today. I wanted to follow through and send you this link to the video on high blood pressure. When you watch it, you're going to learn how nitric oxide therapy can naturally address your high blood pressure. In the company, or let's see, in the organization I'm with, they have a client named Sherry.
Okay.
Sherry used this information and product to help her with her high blood pressure. Her blood pressure was 160/90, and she was faced with the decision to either go on medication or use this natural supplement to address her issue. She decided to apply nitric oxide therapy by using the product Proarginine Plus, and the result was her blood pressure returned to normal. Now her blood pressure readings are consistently 112/68. So all you do is you just basically take that testimonial and you just change the way that you introduce the testimonial.
I got you. Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Or you could use, I'm with a group whose mission is to bless lives with better health. That would be an even better way of doing this. I'm with a group whose mission is to bless lives with better health. One of their clients used this information and product to help her with her blood pressure concerns. So again, you can borrow testimonials that are truthful and accurate until you build your own client base and you have your own clients that you can share.
And be my own testimony.
Yeah, exactly.
That's powerful when you come from you, and they saying that I use in the product, and this is my story.
Yes.
Yeah, and I have to wait, until things happen.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I can use the third party to, share with the people that I'm talking to. This is what's going on. This is the, testimonial that people have from using the product.
You're right. And David Munoz is your sponsor, correct?
Yes, yes.
All right. So you're in my organization, and if
Yes.
you run into health issues, call me or email me, and I'll
Okay.
help you identify a testimonial and the link to a video that's going to speak to that person's need and show you how to use the resources that we've created, that as I work with you and show you, then you'll become familiar with where those resources are located. And again, it's like the testimonial that I have here for Sherry. It's not like if I meet 100 people and all 100 have high blood pressure, it's not like I have to have 100 different testimonials.
Right, exactly.
I use Sherry's testimonial over and over and over. And sometimes I'll have a person who will call me on the telephone and ask me, well, what did it do for you?
Yes.
I said, well, for me, I used it for athletic performance. I played indoor soccer, and when I started using Project Plus, for me, I didn't get tired on the court, and more importantly, the next day I didn't have the soreness. But what was more impressive was what it did for my wife, Sherry, who had high blood pressure. Her high blood pressure was 160/90, and she was faced with this decision. Her doctor wanted her to go on medication. I wanted her to use Project Plus. She finally decided to listen to me and use the product consistently, and here's what happened. Her blood pressure now runs 112/68. No need for medication.
No.
And so typically when I share that or a variation of that, I get the wow. They didn't give me a wow on my soccer because they don't relate to that. Now, if I was talking to a soccer player and in the fourth, at the last 15 minutes of the second half, that he could still be performing the same way that he was performing at the first 15 minutes of the first half, he might be listening to that because that's where you win or lose games, usually in that last 15 to 20 minutes of a soccer match, because you run out of gas. And then the next day, in the next day, being able to recover. Now that might speak to that person, but most people it's not going to speak to. That's why I use Sherry's testimonial, because even if they don't have high blood pressure, the numbers speak. 160/90, 112/68. Wow.
Yeah, right there make the difference.
Yeah. So call me or email me, and I'll help you. Find the information, get the testimonials that will speak to the need of the person that you're talking to.
Awesome.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah. And I used to play soccer, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So
I'm from Argentina, so we play soccer like every day.
Yeah. So how many soccer players do you know that still play? They could use nitric oxide therapy for athletic performance, and we actually have a video on how nitric oxide therapy will improve athletic training, performance, and recovery.
Right.
So it's another market for you of being able to acquire customers.
Yes. Not just on health issues of illness. Mm-hmm. Let's put it that way, but also perform on their exercise or whatever it might do for sports.
Sure.
Put it that way.
Yep, absolutely. Great.
Yeah.
Anyone
that will happen.
Anyone else have any questions before I ask Gene to tell me how to simply send a URL through a text?
No, I think I'm okay.
Okay.
Hey, Dan.
Yes, Gene.
So yeah, there's a few different ways, but I'm just going to tell you how I do it, and I think is the easiest way to do it. Okay. I'll send the links, any links that I'm going to use in a text, I'll send those in an email to myself.
Okay.
And then when I open the email on my phone, I simply just press on the URL that I want and copy it, and then go to my text messages, write my text in, and then again press on the phone, and a little bubble comes up and says, you want to paste something here, and then I paste that URL right in there. So I know that URL, you can type it in too, but with my eyes and how small the phones are, it makes me a little bit crazy.
Right.
So I do the cutting and the pasting is so much easier, and that way you're sure that the link is correct as well.
All right. So I'll have my kids show me exactly what you just told me, so I can see it visually from them, because I know what you just talked about. I end up people ask me, well, can you send me that URL as a text? Well, it's one thing to send a URL for a website. It's a different thing to send a URL for a YouTube video, because it got all those little numbers and capital letters and small case letters, and you have to have it exactly right, otherwise it's not going to go. So yeah, all right, that's great. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any final questions for this morning before we say goodbye and hope you have a great Saturday?
Just a statement, Dan. Thank you. An excellent webinar again today.
Well, you're welcome. And Louis, thank you for role-playing, because that helped a lot for people to see how this works. And again, it's the more you do it, and like anything, if you're not used to using the art of asking questions, again, like any skill, it takes time to learn, and you only learn it by practicing. And the more you do it, the more you practice, the better you're going to get at it, and it just becomes part of your skill set that you naturally can do.
Yeah.
And sometimes my kids catch on to what I'm doing, and they'll look at me. But I use this all the time with people.
Yeah. Well, what I saw in the rolling is like it's like a tennis match. You know, you ask question and wait for the answer, and the key question is ask permission, because when you do that and you already have the yes respond, and it's no doubt about it, their interest on what you're offering to the person.
Yep, absolutely, you got it.
And, yeah.
One question, Dan, for Louis, is that Louis or Lewis?
No, Luis. Spanish is Luis.
Okay, like Louis. Okay, thanks.
Yes, no problem.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for being on this morning's call. We appreciate you coming back on, and have a great Saturday. We'll be here next Saturday.
You too, man. Thank
You're welcome.
you so much. That was
Thanks,
awesome.
Dan. And again, I'm sorry, everybody, for bumping you off.
No problem. No problem. Thank you, everyone.